Hello and welcome to episode number 275 of the Launch Lounge podcast. Today's episode is called Launch Ads Bombed? Here's your unconventional comeback plan. And if you've ever had launch ads or your launch flop or completely tank and you're wondering, should you just burn it all down and go home and be a barista in Bali? Stop right there. I've got you. Stay tuned. Well, hello. I'm so happy to be here with you. Thank you for hanging out with me today. I'm going to share one of those lifting up my dress and showing you my knickers things today. I know how much you guys love it when I share my challenges, my mistakes, my learning opportunities. So if you have had a launch bomb or you've had launch ads bomb in the past, I'm here to tell you that no such thing actually exists. And I can tell you that because I recently spoke to someone who I know launches their course about twice a year, and they make on average about $200,000 a year from these two launches. And they have been doing so for about 3 or 4 years now. And their most recent launch only brought in $33,000. Now, I know some of you are sitting there thinking, I would give my 2 front teeth for a $33,000 launch. But if you've consistently been doing 100K launches for 3-4 years and suddenly it turns into a 33K launch, that can be an emotional journey to navigate. And I very, very, very truly understand all of the emotions, all the feels that goes with that, right? So whether you're an experienced launcher and your ads just suddenly increased, tripled in cost, which meant that you didn't get enough people into your launch to hit those sales numbers, or if you're, maybe you're like a mid-tier experienced launcher and things have been going well, but lately they haven't quite been going as well, or if you're brand new and your first launch bombed, your second launch bombed, your third one bombed, it's all okay. There is always something that can be identified that you can make better, improve, and fix in the next round. And that's what I'm going to share with you today. So I want to just, first of all, give you permission to just pause, take a deep breath, and treat this like a lab experiment, not a final exam. There is no final exams in life. Everything in life is lab experiments. You're not going to be graded and no one is gathering data, well, unless you're gathering data, which I hope you are. But I just want to say, just take a moment. I don't know if you guys heard about this, but one of my favorite ads right now is for the Calm app. I don't know if you've seen the ad. The ad would come on and it would literally just be a blank screen. And sometimes it has sort of this image of something that's sort of gently pulsating, and it just says, take a deep breath. And the ad goes for a full 30 seconds, but it just sort of says, we bought this ad space to give you 30 seconds to just breathe. And I've seen the ad here in Australia and I love it. And then I heard on another advertising podcast that I listened to the other day that they started the ad during the election in America last year, and they actually first aired the ad while the results of the election was being announced. Now, there's no way they could have known, who's going to win, who's going to lose, what is this going to mean, and there's no political opinion in the ad, right? But what they did know is people need a moment to breathe, and people are going to appreciate in that moment in time that the media, that is just, the media, especially around elections. We've just had an election here in Australia, and I just tell you, it's nasty, man. It's just nasty. But for Calm to go and purchase that 30-second ad space and just literally say, we paid for this so that you can have 30 seconds just to breathe. I love it. It's such a good ad. Such a good ad. that was not the point. That was my squirrel. But I know you allow me to go on my side quests. So that was my side quest for the day. But what I do really want to tell you about is not a moment where I took 30 seconds to breathe, a moment where I really needed 30 seconds to breathe. And that was my $30,000 faceplant. Right. So back in 2022, I decided it's time to scale A-lister, and I wanted to flood my list with warm leads at the time, and I decided I was going to spend $30,000 in 3 months on list building prior to my webinar launch, and then have a really warm list to launch to, and not spend a lot of my ad budget on webinar ads, but rather drive traffic to the webinar organically. So like a good little digital marketer, I did all the things, built the ads, ran $30,000 worth of ads. My ads were expensive at the time. I remember I was paying around $8 or $9 for a lead, which is not unusual for running ads about ads, right? Ads about ads are expensive. But what I didn't keep in mind is this was kind of the end of COVID. Everybody was going back to work. Everybody was going back to their non-digital nomad existences, not even nomad, just non-digital lockdown existences. And also it's the time when the iOS changes kicked into gear. And so the pixel went blind overnight, and Facebook ads just really became an F word in a lot of businesses. And of course, I could not have anticipated any of these things, but ended up spending $30,000, and then my launch broke even. I didn't make money. I made $30,000, but I had already spent $30,000. So I was like, yay for $30,000, but also all that work, all that money just to break even. It's not a good feeling. It's not a good feeling, I tell you. And so what I will tell you, the reason I know what went wrong is I surveyed my audience at the end of it. I surveyed them and I asked them, you signed up for the webinar. Why didn't you buy? And they would tell me, I don't have money right now, which is true. Or I'm just focusing mostly on organic content, which I heard a lot. I also surveyed my email list, people who didn't even sign up for the webinar, to ask them what they want right now. And ads was not the thing that they wanted. What they told me they wanted at that time was, I want to know how to convert better on my webinar. I want to know how to get better at selling. I want to know how to build funnels. I want to know, all of those things. I was surprised. And to this day, I look at that survey results and I'm just like, what the what? They all came to me for ads, and then this is what they say they want. And I love it. Today, I'm giving a lot more of that stuff away and a lot less of the ad stuff. In fact, at the moment, you can still get the five-day video training. That's the free course on my website. And you can work with us in the agency, of course. But a lot of it is shifting more towards that marketing piece for me because, you hear me say 100 times over, ads does not make you money. Funnels makes you money. Marketing makes you money. Marketing. That's what makes you money. Funnels is ads is just more traffic. But so here's the piece that I want to share with you is there are 3 key elements of any launch, any funnel, any promotion that works together to make money. Those 3 pieces are your audience, and within audience, you have to look at things like the temperature of that audience. Are they warm or are they cold? You have to look at things like where they're at in the scale of awareness in terms of their problems and in terms of awareness of your solution. So there's a few things you have to consider under audiences. The second piece you have to consider is your offer. Is your offer irresistible? If it's not irresistible, it's not going to sell. It's the old how do you feed a starving crowd sort of thing. Or how do you sell, I'm going to boggle this metaphor completely, but basically, if you sell food when people are hungry, you're going to make money. It doesn't matter if it's good food or bad food or terrible hot dogs. When my friend and I went to New York couple of years ago, on the last night, we found the best jazz bar and we stayed there until 2 a.m. and drank way too many pink slippers. And I should not have put my credit card behind the bar. That was a poor decision on my part, but it was the last night. And we had so much fun. But we stumbled out of there not having had dinner. And of course, in being New York, the first thing we see is a pizza van along the side of the road. And I think the only bad pizza in New York was being sold from that van. But we still inhaled pizza at 2 a.m. in Greenwich after too many pink slippers. But it hit the spot and it's memorable. And I remember that pizza, even though it was terrible. So that guy was making money because he was selling something that we desperately wanted at a time we desperately wanted it. Now, where I see online course creators, even coaches, trip up with this offer creation thing is they start with what I have instead of with what you want, right? We always start with what we have because you've spent years and years and years and years becoming an expert at what you have, right? What you have is a solution. What you have is a something. Like you are an expert in some area. But your audience doesn't care about that. Your audience only cares about their own pain points, their own problems, and the outcome that they want. So my point is, you are an expert at something, but your audience doesn't care about something. What they care about is what something's going to do for them. And that is your offer. Your offer is the thing that communicates. Your offer is a communication tool. It's the way you package it. It's the way you present it. It's the way you show it to them in your webinar, on your sales page. And it usually includes a big, bold promise. It includes benefits of everything you show them. It includes an understanding of their pain and their desire and the things that they've tried in the past that didn't work. It includes your course, right? It includes a breakdown of what's in your course, but communicated in a way that they can see the benefits of those things. It usually includes a price. It usually includes a guarantee. It usually includes some form of overcoming their objections, whether it's a Q&A or a FAQ section. That is your offer, right? And your offer has to be juicy. And the third part of this, the third pillar that every online courses business, every launch, this is the third marketing pillar that profitability rests on, is your launch mechanism. And I call it a launch mechanism because it's bigger than a funnel. A funnel, the word funnel can apply to a lot of different things, right? I can create a social media funnel where I'm posting top of funnel content, middle of funnel content, and bottom of funnel content. I can create an email marketing series where I send out one email to my entire list that sends them to a blog post. And then everyone who clicked on that blog post gets another email. And then I send everyone who went to the blog post like, hurry, you've got to buy now. Top of funnel, middle funnel, bottom of funnel. Funnels are generic. Funnel is a way to describe anything that moves people from one point to a second point to a buying point, right? But what I'm talking about when I'm saying launch mechanism is, yes, it includes your funnel, but it is whether or not you are using a webinar or a video series or an email sequence or a one-on-one call, or a whatever that launch journey is that you're going to take them on. And the thing that dictates what launch mechanism you're going to use is the price point, right? How long do you need your funnel to be, and how many personal touch points does it need to have in order for that funnel to convert? And I have seen people build 4-part video series for a $47 course and make zero money because nobody made it to the actual end of the funnel, the bottom of the funnel, because they got bored. Because you're not asking them to marry you, you're just asking them for a small commitment. So just give it to them succinctly. If you're ready to start scaling your business,
Get back your time and step into your freedom empire. Listen up. I'm excited to share that we've got just 2 spots opening up in our VIP client level in May. We're taking on 2 new course creators in the Launch Lounge marketing and ads agency during May. And honestly, we are pretty pumped about what we're offering. Here's the deal. We don't just run your ads. We're your go-to growth partners who look at your whole marketing picture. The best part? We've built some really cool AI tools that our clients are loving. These tools help spruce up your launch copy so it actually connects with your audience. They make your webinar content way more engaging, and they spot those missed opportunities in your sales process so you can turn more viewers into buyers during your launches. Our clients tell us they're finally getting off that exhausting launch roller coaster. They're seeing sales come in consistently and getting back precious time with their families. If you're already making at least $100K per year, have an offer that people love, and you're committed to doing the work to scale, we should definitely chat. You've built something awesome. Now let us help you grow it without the stress. Just head over to thelaunchlounge.com/agency and apply. But don't wait too long. Those 2 spots won't hang around.
All right. So where I see people fumbling with this is most people focus too much on the ads, or even sometimes on the emails. But I'm afraid to say that because mostly I see people not focusing enough on the emails. But if the launch mechanism doesn't match your offer and it doesn't match your audience, it's literally like you're trying to toast bread with a hairdryer. Like, you can stand there however long you want, but it's not going to work. So what do you do if it is your ads that bombed, right? If you know it was your ad cost that blew this whole thing out of the water. If your ad cost was too high, like we've just seen somebody who launches the same thing over and over, and they always have a paid offer at the front end. So it's like a $9 challenge or boot camp or class, week-long experience. For $9, you join this week-long experience. And their ads cost about $11 per lead to get into this class. And you might ask, well, is it worth it if they're paying $11 to get a $9 sale? Heck yeah, because wouldn't you'd be spending that money on list building anyway. If you pay $3 a lead, you wouldn't bat an eyelid, right? You'd be like, yeah, it's $3 a lead. I'm list building. But if you can spend $11 to get a $9 sale, the quality of that lead is already way better than the quality of that $3 lead. So yes, it does make sense to do that. But their sales went up from $11 to $26 to buy these leads. And so the number of people coming into that funnel wasn't high enough. They didn't get enough people coming into their funnel. Now, does that mean their ads bombed? Maybe. But when we look at it, things that we look at is were we targeting the right people? And the answer is yes. And the way that we know that is we look at the link click-through rate. And the link click-through rate, if it's higher than 1%, then we know there's a synergy between the people who saw the ad and the people who clicked on the ad to go and check out the landing page. So we know the message in the ad landed, and we know it landed with the right people. So then the question is, did the landing page convert? And in this case, the landing page didn't convert as well as we wanted it to convert. And, then we can go through a whole bunch of stuff and ask ourselves why that is. But when we look at the ads specifically, the first thing we look at is, did the ads work? Did we get a click-through rate higher than 1%, right? And you can also say, well, okay, did we get the right people in terms of, let me give you this example. One of my clients targets healthcare professionals. And sometimes in some of her ads, we want to make sure we exclude a certain healthcare professional. Is that a guarantee that you'll always be able to exclude them? No. But are we going to make sure we don't include that profession in the ads? Absolutely, right? So you ask yourself, did I target the right people? The next thing is you say, was there a hook? Was there something that was going to stop the scroll? Now, again, if your link click-through rate is higher than 1%, chances are there was a good hook. Chances are they did stop the scroll because you had enough people go to that landing page. And then you can say, okay, well, yeah, this hook did work, but actually look at your ad and actually ask yourself, is there a way I can improve this hook? Is there a way I can be clearer, speak more directly to the benefit or the pain point that they want? And then the last thing is, you have to ask yourself, did the ad align with the landing page? And we call this ad scent. And it's kind of, if you want to imagine a dog sniffing things, when Odie's running around the backyard chasing lizards, which he does every day, and bush turkeys, then, his nose is going crazy and he's following things from one place to the next, to the next, to the next. And he does that every morning, because every morning by like 7:30, when he finally gets his butt out of bed and makes his way into the garden to go do his business, the bush turkeys have already been there and they have left their scent everywhere. And so he goes crazy following the scent. And so there should be some kind of a scent that people follow from your ad to your landing page. And the thing that creates a delightful smell is your branding, right? Your branding. Do you have consistent fonts? Do you have consistent look? Have you used images consistently? Does it look and feel like the same brand that advertised? Is there consistency in that feeling? Is there consistency in the pain points you're addressing? Is there consistency in the results that you're speaking to on your landing page? And you've got to look at that, right? But sometimes it's not the ad. Sometimes it's your expectation. And if you thought you're going to pay $3 per lead and now it's costing $12, before you panic, look at your overall conversion rate. Would you pay $12 for a lead that buys a $2,000 course? Heck yeah, all day, right? Would you pay $12 for a lead that buys a $47 course? Never. I would never do that. That is not going to make mathematical sense unless you can convert 100% of your leads. But you're not going to make money on that, right? So here's your 5-step rescue plan. If your launch ads flopped and you're staring at your screen like my 14-year-old staring at Spotify, right? The first thing I want you to do is be calm. Take a breath. Take your 30 seconds. Remember, I used to, when I was in my final year in school, I had a maths teacher who was one of the best maths teachers in the state. Like, she got the best results. And I was her little special, am I going to get this kid over the line student. And in our final exam, she called me on our landline at home at like 6 the Sunday night. And she said, it's time to put down the books. It's time to stop studying. You are not going to add anything else into your head from now on, between now and the exam. And I need to tell you that there's life after maths. And I was like, what? This is the maths teacher who, like, everything revolves around the fact that she gets the best results. And she's picking up the phone, and she did this with all of her students. Picking up the phone, calling me to say, stop studying now, stop stressing, take a breath, there's life after maths. And well, here I am at age 44, and you can see there's life after math. And if I had known what I know now, I would have stopped studying then. But of course I did not, because I have ADHD and I was feeling behind. So I studied all night. Maybe I should have stopped. I want you to just calm down, just take a moment, just take your 30 seconds. And breathe, and then celebrate the things that did work. Because if you can see some things that did work, Like I was able to see, well, I did make 30 sales in that $30,000 flop. I did make 30 sales, which is not nothing. It's great. There was just a problem with how I built my audience, and there was a problem with my offer in that I was trying to sell ice to Eskimos at the time. I was trying to sell something to people that everyone was allergic to at the time. But look at the data. Did people click? Did your thank you page convert? Did you get nice DMs? Focus on the small wins. Look at what did work. Because in your next launch, the things that worked, you can just replicate that. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. Those are your building blocks that are laid down now. And they're laid down. And so you have, even if you have half a foundation, at least you have half a foundation, right? The second thing is find the leaky bucket. Like figure out where in your funnel did you lose the traffic? At which conversion point did the most people drop off? Right? Just find one spot in your funnel that you say, well, next time I'm going to focus on increasing the conversions here. It could be the landing page for your webinar. It could be your sales page. It could be your email open rates. It could be your sales during cart close, but choose one thing that you can work on. The third thing is talk to real humans. Send an absolute, no BS email to your non-buyers and ask them, what held you back? What would get you over the line next time? What have you tried instead? What are you going to try now that you didn't buy? Ask them if they want to hop on a call with you, interview them, ask them what their pain points are and what their desires are, and how your offer fell short in meeting those. That information that you can gather from those interviews are gold. And please record them because you're going to want to transcribe them, because I'm going to ask you for your voice of customer data so that we can pull the words they use when they describe their pain and their desires and use that back at them, right? Number 4, rework, don't restart. Like I said, you already have a foundation. Don't throw the baby out with the bathwater, please. You don't need to rebuild. You need to refine. Slight tweaks is going to give you big gains over time. Number 5, do it again. Do it again. And I want to say do it again soon. Don't wait. Don't put it aside. Don't think you'll get to it. Do not start procrastinating. I'm speaking to myself as well. Launches are like reps at the gym, right? And you're not going to get biceps from one push-up. I can tell you I'm trying very hard to do pull-ups, and it's a bit funny. Yesterday I tried getting my foot in a rubber band, but it was too tight and my foot couldn't lift up, and people laughed at me. You've got to do it over and over and over. There is such a thing as launch fitness. All right, so I want to remind you, you're not in school anymore. There's no exams, there's no deadline, there's no passing or failing. You don't fail at launching or fail at creating ads. You just stop trying. Entrepreneurs don't take final exams. We run field tests, and we run them like chickens running around in circles. There's no straight line. You're building those muscles every time you're launching. So let's stop comparing our launches to Susan's 6-figure screenshot on Instagram or Sarah's overnight success that was 37 launches in the making, okay? The real win isn't in the sales. We want that too, but the real win isn't in the sales. It's in the insight. If you learned what your audience doesn't want, you're already ahead. If you showed up with heart and you gave it your best, you won. If you're willing to try again and you've already made it, right? So most people don't hit it out of the park on launch 1, 2, or even 7. That doesn't mean you're not good at this. It means you're doing it right. It means you're showing up. So the next time your ads bomb, your open rates nosedive, or your checkout page gets crickets, remember, this isn't the end. This is just the foundation. You're building the foundation. And somewhere in the middle will be a brilliant comeback. So here's what I want to leave you with. If you're standing in the aftermath of a launch that didn't go as planned, Stats aren't what you hoped for, the sales aren't what you projected, and maybe that voice of doubt is slowly getting louder and louder. I want you to remember this. This moment doesn't define your business. It refines it. Every failed launch is actually a masterclass in what your audience truly needs from you. Every ad that didn't convert is giving you priceless feedback about what exactly resonates. And every person who didn't buy is showing you exactly what's missing from your offer. This isn't the end of your story. It's just the plot twist that makes it interesting. The truth is, building your freedom empire was never meant to be a straight line. It's messy, it's unpredictable, and sometimes it's going to break your little heart in a million little pieces before it fills your bank account. But the entrepreneurs who succeed aren't the ones who never stumble. They're the ones who know how to turn those stumbles into the next breakthrough. So take the data and take this experience. And most importantly, take this moment to remember why you started this in the first place. Go pull out your testimonials. Go pull out those beautiful emails you get. Go pull out that letter that someone wrote you to say thank you. Remind yourself why you do this and remind yourself of the impact that you can make. Because your audience is still out there waiting for the solution that only you can provide. They're just waiting for you to speak their language, and you're just learning how to speak that language. So go and make your comeback bigger than your setback. And I will be right here cheering you on every step of the way. And in our next episode, if you've ever wondered if writing a book is going to make you money, you're going to want to tune in. I'll see you then. Bye.
Before you go, if today's episode helped you, imagine how many more lives could be transformed if other creators, coaches, and experts found these strategies too. Your shares and reviews help more course creators discover how to get their knowledge out into the world. Please take a moment to rate the show and leave a quick review. When you do, we get to reach more people and we make a bigger impact together. Because when more people who help people succeed, the world becomes a better place. Thank you.